Okay, cut.
Recording in progress है. तो ये फिर कैंपस चलता है. वो नहीं है कहीं होगा.
चल रही हो. बहुत कैमरा करूँ. कैमरा होगा ठीक है. ठीक. लाइट करो. लाइट कट. ठीक है. हेलो। मैम ले मैम अरे एक बारी मेरे को जूम पे शो करा दो। तो बस इंटरफेस का काम होगा बना। फिर bस US Greetings, dear friends. University of Botaro. The child is calling, leading us up to the sixth GNRC summit meeting. Represent you. Sound as a don't understanding, no chakras. There's no purpose of life for me. Always in progress. Two small prayers within a minute's time. This is the prayer unity charged with. हे ईश्वर मेरा मन प्रश्न कर मेरी रक्षा कर मेरे हृदय को भर और मुझे एक एक तू शक्तिशाली और बलशाली Sound out all right? Oh God, educate these children. These children are the plants of thy preaching the path of thy heavens, the roses of thy garden. Let thy veins fall upon them. Let the sun of reality shine upon them with thy love. Let thy breeze special in order that they may be trained, grow, develop, and appear in the most people. Thou art the hero, thou art the vanquish. These two prayers and reminding of our precious living children we offer every day to our Heavenly Central. And you see our heart and how we have a lot of people. Om Bhagavata Samasova Sarvishtam Vidyogama Vidyogam Om Shasam Vedam Whatever lead us now and lead us to you, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to mortality. Holy, peace, peace, peace. हमारे पास परमिशन मतलब बात का इस्लाम में एक नहीं पड़ता أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم آمين. This prayer is really asked by Allah. ये ड्रोन पे देख रहे हैं ये पुलिस में चल रही है इसकी टाइम का शो कर रहे हैं क्योंकि ये मीटिंग now in Palawan, rather than you have on the most all stand here in the fire of your kingdom, Lord of the all the Amen. On the one come to come to the and miracle sanction you always with happiness and peace in you. Now in Palawan, several easily brought up under a STK process developed. And we developed the person and so where all the students were giving bring all the products the alpha. And I can this is the child calling. This isn't the child calling our father together. Together, our father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us our daily bread, and forgive us our sin, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. Amen. When qualify given is up from the taking to the prayer. Namo Vari Antaram Namo Siddhana Namo Madhyaram Namo Vajra Namo Lord Namo एक एक लाइन अहिंसा संयमो तमो देवावितं नमस्कृतंसि यस्य धम्मे दया ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत् योग और पीने दो हिट एंड लेट हिट ओम शांति 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 for the beautiful so So, GNRC 3 4 India, funded by the force and we are resolving what we are wanted. So, we would like to invite some of the leaders for the opening remarks. We are already heading over the time, so we request all the leaders to be short on their remarks. Professor Abdul Qasi, former Vice Chancellor, Jodhpur University. Dr. Anna Malay, Director, National Gandhi University, New Delhi. Dr. KG Vino Arab, President Shanti Ashram and co-chair GNRC 6 Forum. I invite all the guests for the opening. better way. When we made the request to the organizing committee who represented here, that is the Parad has been actually India. But the only two reasons he said that he wants a small consultation in India. One, because we all know India has declared itself the most populous country in the world. We are yet to do the full census, but when we do the census, the numbers are firm. As a region, South Asia, we have the blessing of having a great region. So in India, it's a place where we have to think of fulfillment every day. It's appropriate that we have a Supreme Court of consumption. There is another reason that I thought we should gather. We had in charge of four three cases, but we narrowed down on New Delhi and we made a special request to Annamala. Annamala and I know tomorrow all the national events for the country will happen in this city. Rajghat in India, Rajghat. Because the words of Mahatma Gandhi ring in our ears. If we want true peace in the world, we have to begin with children. We also know that the world is not necessarily at its peaceful best today. Conflicts, even this morning, we received an email about the situation of children in the ongoing conflict in Lebanon, in Africa. And this is probably the first time after World War II, that the greatest number of children in modern history have been displaced by conflicts. We hear about Israel, we hear about Lebanon, we don't hear about many other conflicts. And so taking peace for granted is not something we should do. The second thing, yesterday, along with Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, former chief scientist of WHO and now the current chair of MS Swaminathan, we were in a day-long program in a consultation about the situation of hunger and food security. And I must say, Dr. Raj and Dr. Manoj, while we count problems, we also count the good things we have done. In just one state of Tamil Nadu, the state has a program that provides warm meals to 4.3 million children, that's 43 lakh children. And the reason I count this number is because in our culture, we never say my child, your child. Tamil we say Nalla Koranda, your child, Tumhara bachche. So there is a collective commitment to children. And if a state can be reminded, calling to the Kailash Satyarthi Foundation, I want to acknowledge them. Please put that up. But then they were being proud of the child. Like you in the Kailash Satyarthi Foundation and under Satyarthi Peace Fund, we have taken problems of the children, whether it is child labor, whether it is hunger and insecurity. And when the state takes responsibility, along with all of us, it is a stronger cause. But we need reminders. And today, in this free forum, we will have three things. We will have a chance to look back. Vijay and Anam are going to lead us. They have been at the previous global forum as to what we have done. We will have a time to think about our future. Like Swami and Malcolm said, start with what you can do. Inaction makes you powerless. Action makes you powerful. Next, you can see what are we doing, what can we do together. The third thing is all of us cannot be at the wonderful event with Integrate Alliance and Arigato International are hosting in Abu Dhabi. What is it that we have to send as a message of that? So the three things in the concept note that you have all received in your folders, it's a wonderfully written concept, but it's not just for a symposium or a seminar or to enrich all our work.
They call for this mindfulness of mystery situation, conflict. The post-pandemic world is where there is a confluence of crises, the economic crisis, the social crisis, and the educational crisis. And it also calls for us to do so. So I'm very grateful for all of you who have come here. I also want to thank our colleagues at the GNRC Sixth Forum Secretariat, our Secretary General, Dr. Mustafa, Interfaith Alliance colleagues led by a dear lover of India, Rana Humayun, who is represented here by Farad. I want to thank you, Farad, for coming all the way and being here. But I also want to say it has been an honor. Monica, I'm not the co-chair. I serve as the vice chair of the International Organizing Committee. We keep calling it IOC. And my nephew is very impressed because he thought I was in the International Olympics Committee. And then he had a bit of a small face when I told him, he said, never mind his fortune. But it's been a joy because what I see is a community of people that have come together. So with those few words, I'm going to pass on the mic to someone I look up to, Professor Vasi, from the days when he led the Department of Religion at Jamia Millia. Professor Abdul Wasi's work, both in the intellectual realm about defining composite identities. The identity of an Indian Muslim, he said, is an identity by choice. But he went one step further. He lived what Vivekananda always called us to explore, what Mahatma Gandhi showed as an example, faith in action. Wasi Saab, what will be your opening thoughts today?
Thank you, Neil. I am grateful to thank you even you produce this. The first of all, I was in my respect, if I was sleeping, to be guardian friendly, if I was standing. I am also, it's quite quickly, became as a dream, the China, it's, I, it's, nothing for the there. Yeah, all these things, not always all the part of the and now they are going to need even and I will whatever happening around the globe, basically it's not only creating problem for us. So that's we have a more creating problem for the people of the globe and most particularly women and children. Whatever is happening in Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, Ethiopia, and other parts of the world that can be overlooked. That was not that basically we cannot close our eyes on all the happenings. Our young people, who are the custodians of church, are basically continuously killed or made vulnerable for a world simply full of sickness, full of problem and violence. One thing I would like to share with you without naming our children, what is that you see the culture, the religious diversity is here only because not because of me or you, but because of the will, desire, and design of Allah Jalla Shana. For God, we can say, or Sarmahma or Ishwar, whatever some we can. Because that's हम सब कहते हैं कि वो एक तरह से सर्वशक्तिमान we are all having faith that the God is basically in Allah like a believe. He is most powerful. If he wants, he can make everybody or everybody can be directed to be a Muslim or Hindu or Christian or Jaini or Buddhist or Sikh or whatever Christian, whatever we want to say, for Jew. But we cannot forget one thing that Allah had not given us that basically peculiar design. But basically, Allah had given us a choice of our own to follow our own religion and choose our own religion and follow that accordingly. So therefore, we should be very careful about that. And another thing which I would like to all the religious leaders, in the name of children and women of the globe, that we should have a common minimum program about the ills and evils which do not consider the borders. They are not considered, they do not consider religions, but they consider only their own best interest. Therefore, we should have a basically a common minimum program to eradicate all the ills and evils from the earth, which can save the future of our women and our children, most probably. Finally, I would like again to wish my best wishes to the GNRC next program in Abu Dhabi and hope that they will have the program more successful and we will have the world with full of love and peace and not we will have any place for hate or violence in the world. Thank you very much.
One of the things we have to do are recommendations from the forum, Abu Dhabi, but also to our collective thinking, Brother Steve. And I think one of the things that we are at this moment positioned in India is to think about what this common minimum program can be. I think it's just yesterday in Chennai when we all met, we were saying to appeal to the governments of the country, but all the institutions we should have a common minimum program or stuff that can be something that we look at, which is programs that continue, like child labor, which is not completely eliminated, or for example, gender equality that is not fully attained, but we can also take the newer programs that are there, and I think that will give us also a sense of commonality. Brothers and sisters, we all know Professor Vasi was not only head of the department, also served as India's commissioner for the minority. So he was the commissioner for minorities for the entire country was and I had the good fortune to now and now with Vasi Saab take a delegation of religious leaders, the Ramakrishna Mission in South Africa welcomed us country to look at the HIV work there. So it was a delegation that traveled together and we learned what was the work there. This was as India was declaring the pandemic. And I will just share one anecdote. We were all leaders are no different sometimes from their people. When we were sitting and hearing our South African brothers and sisters, myself, if you remember that moment at the UN Resident Coordinator's office, they kept saying about the pandemic, about the numbers, about how 1 in 4 women uh, who was expecting a baby was HIV positive. Very quickly, India came to the second position with 5.1 million people. And there was a moment of discord. One leader from the region, I won't name the country, from our region, South Asia, got up and said, I know why South Africa has so many people with HIV. There is not too much control in the way sexual behavior is practiced. And Vasi Sahab, then, as the leader of the delegation, realized it was not what they were saying, it was the communication that was happening, which is where the problem is. Vasi got up and said, I think it is not about how it spreads, it's about the perception in our mind as to how we can empower ourselves to prevent it. That's a true leader who moved us from problem spotting to problem solving. And because I like to remember that humorous moment when you could have broken into a big issue. We are here in the Gandhi Museum. I think one of the greatest joys of belonging to the family of Gandhi institutions and people inspired by Gandhi is this call of Vinaya, whose coming to us and social cohesiveness. The Sustainable Development Goal speaks about it, peace building and society cohesion. But society cohesion doesn't come only out of narratives and private opinion. It also comes from constructive work. Now, when someone who's leading the National Gandhi Museum, who travels, crisscrosses the country but around the world, what will be your wish? What will be your thought for this consultation? Both leading to Abu Dhabi, but for us in India.
Thank you. Thank you. And we are really happy to have you all here in our midst. And at the time of celebrating our birthday of Father of the Rich. And when Binu asked me, I tried my level best to postpone it to somewhere else, to take it to somewhere else. I sent so many mails, but I practically failed. I don't know. That is the destiny. That is the destiny. I also see, because we are living with the memory of that. See, everywhere we can find Gandhi with some soup. And I think Gandhi is the only leader who take along with him women and children to the forefront of the struggle. And Gandhi, yes, Gandhi was responsible for his non-violent struggle, but it was women and children who took the leadership and make it as non-violent struggle. That is the strength of the non-struggle because of the women and children. Otherwise, there was always a possibility of sliding down to violence. Because of the safeguarding the movement from the non-violent movement by the women and children. That's why I think that destiny brought me. And he was completely restricted myself only to that. For the last 7 years, I am not going anywhere except Gandhian. Gandhian. Gandhi is the core. Why they accepted this GNRC meeting here at National Parliament? And I also said, he part the most. When I reminded of my association with children, I was responsible for a small school for 14 years. I studied with children. I live with children. They are also living. It's a residential school. So I live with them and we live with them. And my home is always part of it. And my daughter got married. Many children make it, but now they are working in different places. They wish to the marriage. In the night in 10 o'clock, I asked them, Mother, are you going to stay? So, they didn't know, but they came along. So they stayed with our own home. And my experience with them is remarkable. But I'm not sure it's the experience of others. When we organize any program, we get we discuss with the children. And mostly the girl children, they took the leadership role. They took everything. The boys always fun. And all the programs were conducted by the children itself, themselves. And I took them all to Mahabali. We decided to put them in Mahabali. And we have a Tamil heritage group. And all the foreigners of Mahabali, which is studying, they also came. And I took them all. All scavengers children, the first time they have entered the school. But something you realize that as a summer, they didn't have even chapter. But Mahabalipuram, as you know, it's a sandy area. Then I call somebody, immediately they said, no, 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 we will provide somebody, five chapel for everybody. So I took them all. And after that, what I asked them to write down, whatever your experience on Mahabalipuram. Everybody has written something. And one boy, there is a Arjun Thomas. There's a big panel of people from so many activities. They put on the big panel. It is called Arjun Thomas. He has got exactly on the Arjun by watching that Arjun Thomas. He has written the whole panel. The experts of Mahabharata. Yes, I see. You try. No, what talent these people they have, but we are not respecting that talent. We are not providing the opportunity for them about their whole life. Therefore, it is very, very essential. Because the children of the poorer section are more vulnerable than anybody else. Women are vulnerable, but the children of their families are more vulnerable. Therefore, it is essential to have such a vision. And I know you know very active on the area wherever. She invited me because I am the director. Otherwise, she would have loved to invite my daughter or my director. Yes, because he loved this. It is not because of Shanti or the president of the Shanti Ashram. It is that character. Whether she has been a president or a secretary or anybody else, but she loves children. She wants always to be part of children. Okay? So all the parents all the endeavor on behalf of the National Gandhi Mission, I wish you all success. Thank you.
Chelsea, Monica, Anam, if you look at the common minimum program, there are two or three things that have come out of the opening. One of it, I think, is the refocus that is being on vulnerable children. In our area, the children of scavengers still, or children or families that help us maintain economic food, still are the most disadvantaged. 5 years ago, when we were looking at the city statistics of Coimbatore, we saw still in the corporation, the cleaning work is done 90% by our brothers and sisters manually, but also from the active community. I do think this is very different. So I think your call now to look at the most vulnerable will be an important call because poverty, as we move out of poverty, the people, the brothers and sisters who live in property, the poverty become even more invisible. So that clarity God, also Anam, Karti, Monica, I think in the common minimum program, another thing that Vasi Sahib said, is this narrative of peace over hate, the narrative of non-violence over violence. We don't know a single conflict which has used violent means that has ever ended in peace. And I think from the Gandhi Museum, a call for non-violent narratives, but also non-violent training that we should come out from India. And this has to start at the family level. Families have to practice non-violent coexistence. It has to happen in institutions, but it also must happen, I think, at the society level. Okay? For both of you, we have four common programs that we take forward and bring here. I have a representative of the young people. Liberty, may I ask you to share your point? What is that?
Namaskar, Sastrikal, Assalamu alaikum, and good afternoon to everyone present here. I, Sania Vasudev, study in class 9th in Jamia Senior Secondary School. I am highly obliged to take this opportunity to express my views and my perspective through a self-composed poem on a very crucial matter, the child is calling, which is very relevant in the present. I would like to thank GNRC who is working for such a noble cause and for giving me this opportunity. I am very grateful for it. Here the poem goes. Children, safe expectation, unsafe reality. Contemporary world is filled with crimes. Children are feeling suffocated. So tough times. Huge pressure from all sides. They are struggling for a life of happiness and pride. Threatening, manipulating are the things to be done with a child. By doing these acts, the world has lost the time when the children smiled. Nowadays, how easily they are physically abused. Only this day was left to see when an innocent is being used. We say that children are the future of our nation. We say that children are the future of our nation, but do we mean it when the majority is suffering with anxiety and depression? When they wanted support, chase their dreams and goals, when they wanted to achieve something with all their heart and their souls, they are always demoralized to what they wish to pursue. We just scared about the world view. So, everyone, let's work time when children don't feel scared and don't have to strive. A place where their voices are heard, where importance is considered, where each word I believe we all can make a change. I believe we all can make a change by giving them an opportunity to go beyond the range. As change starts from within, a small initiative which in the end makes us win. Come, let's together build a safe world to make them feel special. Come, let's together build a safe world to make them feel special and save them from every kind of abuse, be it physical or verbal. In any way they are lost, and the number of times they fall, they will always look up to you, stand beside them like one big fortune. Let's build their secure and bright future. With their small steps of happiness, we build our home, and we always say without them, we feel alone. A glimpse of sorrow on their face, shed all the bloom, makes the whole atmosphere weary and gloom. As we address them, our apple of eye, so let them shine bright in the sky. In their hard times, stronger and bolder, this is the time of keeping our hand on their shoulder. Thank you, everyone.
Another round of applause. The children stand not just for the beautiful gathering, but I think for the call to walk together, for the call to be shoulders to each other, and for that courage to be able to look each other's eyes and up, so that we can tell each other we are here together. It is so wonderful and we really ask for my children to be going to the next session thinking about it.
With their small steps of happiness, we build our home, and we always say, without them, we feel alone. Glimpse of sorrow on their face shed all the bloom, makes the whole atmosphere weary and gloom. We address them our apple of eye, so let them shine bright in the sky. In their hard times, if they don't feel stronger and bolder, this is the time of keeping our hand on their shoulder.
Today, my duty to not only thank Anamle and Jack, it's also my duty to thank the people who made this possible, along with the Gandhi Museum, our colleagues in the popular Caroline, if you stand up, we'd like to acknowledge they have been the same word that they have also been colleagues in Bombay working with that. I want to thank the police, AE represented by Dr. Disali. Actually, will you please stand up so we can acknowledge your leadership, your knowledge, and your humility of us. All those who are heard Dr. Dikali Manor, just like Professor Vasi know, that she has put years, decades of service and her knowledge into many things that makes this world a better world for children. Just like I enjoy listening to Sana, I have always been inspired listening to you, Dr. Manor, about the shaping of the identity of a young girl, a young boy, with an equal society. I also want to acknowledge my colleagues at Shanti Ashram, Vijay, Kali, Monica, will you please stand up? The few of them, Anna, will you stand up? And Anna and Shanti started off like Sana. Anna has finished a PhD and is a practicing lawyer. Karti is at the premier Indian institution, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. They both started at age 10. So Annamayana, we have leaders who have grown, and I'm very grateful to you. Vijay, thank you. Monica, thank you. Thank you. Annamayana team, the Gandhi Museum, if you just turn around, they are there. Please give them a round of applause. They are on board. Tomorrow they have a few days, but they have open here. So Monica will pass it back to you, and whenever it's appropriate, I would like us to invite Carl for the response. Please come up, Karthik comes up. One Atmavya, and there's also on the advisory council of GNRC India and
GNRC has been devoted work for member of children. We Ramakrishna Mission have been doing this kind of work in the last 100 years. What we have noticed that parents have immense role in improving the condition of children. Because parents have to be taught, parents have to be counted, and you have to share the parents about children, child education, and child health. Eventually, we will be able to improve happiest condition of children. While working, we have noticed that the parents do not have any idea about movement of their. That I would like to quote one incident. I asked the sweeper of the hospital, why you are having so many children? 6 or 7 Let's see. What is their idea? The wrong idea. उन्होंने कहा स्वामी जी 7-8 चिल्टू बच्चे होंगे तो 7-8 बच्चे कुछ दिन के बाद पैसा कमाना लगेंगे तो हमारे पास बहुत पैसा होगा. You understand what the speaker replied? Agar if you have 6 or 7 children, they will earn more money for meals or for families. So this is the idea. So I like to request this forum. You also go house to house and children the parents. Because everything starts from home. You want to give clarification, you want to give education, everything should start from home. That is why if you want really to want to children must go and tell the parents what is health education, what is for health, health education, and all sorts of things. This much I would like to tell you, and this forum definitely will give toward this point, and you must go house to house campaign and tell the parents how to react their children. It's very important. You don't know anything about the right. Certainly you know, and most of the children are suffering from malnutrition, anemia, difficulty. And child mortality rate was very high. Their age parties is coming down is a good sign. But still, you must engage the parents. We do what you do this. First time, channel.
True to the spirit of the Ramakrishna mission of 100 years, action speak for itself. I think this thought, again, for Monica and Karti and Yuji to take the common minimum program, is how do we work with parents? It's very hard to be a parent. Anybody who's a parent now, it's not an easy job. I'm a pediatrician by training and a public health expert. I think it's very hard once it's up. They have to pass the assessments of their children, of themselves. It's very hard. But people find funny that we say it's not the number of children alone, but it is for parents to feel what Sana was saying that they're not alone. The support system, the knowledge sharing, the course correction. I think if they feel supported and not judged, I think they're part of the things. But I don't think we have to start and age. People. We can't start after they marry and start families. The seeds have to start when they're 18, 19, 20. And there, youth communities have a very important role to play, visualizing their role as a parents. I think just like we prepare them for jobs and future roles, I think it is needed that we also invest in children. And Anamenda, like you said, love is universal. Love and what chances that shoulder where they can come and rest anytime is there, I'm sure until you are complete. So I'm really very grateful to the Ramakrishna Mission, to Swami Atmapriyananda, who has always been part of our, even in Bombay, Gandhi was there. And I think one of the most progressive interpretations of Hinduism comes from Swami Vivekananda, when he says religion should be realized. Religion should not be lost in rituals, but has to be realized. And when realization is the metrics, as Swami Vivekananda said, realization comes with what Sana says in supporting and accompanying a child to achieve this or more own potential. That divinity is embedded in the child and in our own. Thank you, Monica, for your patient time, but I thought it was important for us to acknowledge the partners who come together. So last November, we were in Bombay, all came together. This October, we are in New Delhi. I look at this as an annual retreat. It's not an event. An annual retreat where we keep together. We had some open, we were in Manipur and Another we are in the Gandhi Museum. The reason I insisted we come to Gandhi Museum is because the voice of Mahatma Gandhi, the spirit of Mahatma Gandhi, I think is a unified scheme in Jaipur. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have been requested for us to take a picture for documentation and please. It's Sunday, Sunday. Sunday.
Ramaparadai, which is our children, our family. And I also thank Professor Abdul Wasi for the call for all the religions for finishing common programs for children and youth. I thank Dr. Annamalai sir. It is such an inspiration to know about your faith in Gandhian and also the way you inspired from girls children. Thank you so much. Now, we have a message from Archbishop Felix Machado, Bishop Diocese of Basalt. He is out of country, so he couldn't attend the forum in person. So let us all give up our ears to this message.
यहाँ पे खड़ा है पूरा ब्लैंक था दूसरी फोटो वाली थी अभी घर गई थी कि नहीं क्या घर पे देखो उनका वहीं था मैं और जब भी देख लेते हैं अब देखो ना जब भी देख लेते हैं पूरा आ रहा है पहले खाली यहाँ पे आ रहा था जब भी देख लेते हैं पहले मेरे को इसके बारे में नॉलेज ही नहीं मुझे मैं तो तुम्हें ठहरने में चेक कर चल देख रहता हूँ पहले सब अब पुलिस में आ रहे थे उनको हम टिक कर आए फिर खाली यहाँ पे इतने में चल रहा हूँ और यहाँ इतनी फोटो आ रही है रुपये से किया जाती नहीं जाता है उसमें और कहीं पर जैसे ये है ना बिल्कुल स्पॉटलाइट पे जिस का आ नहीं रहा और स्पॉटलाइट पे स्लैब तो देख लो ये देखी एक वो चाहिए वो भी आपकी है मेरी तो मूवी की सोनी मैं तो सुना है Good morning, all, and very, very good animations. We have three doctors and other big works. You know, my system here right now is to very what is side is what this side was the writing the white. There will be made all is listening to that. And I have words in that. One is depression and depression. If you two words that I had my attention and all of the jobs, all of the words that two words which are very children learn countries. It is to child sexual time between a couple. We have all to have the something of the facial in our children. And every year there are 18 of just to carry. Child sexuality, one area we have to go. And why intervention in that book? To bring the children together so that they will mind that one day. So we implemented program based management what we bring. We invited the parents and the children. He hold them together. They said, come together. It is really what education is all about. Let us come out of here and make the living and what being successful. We will next time there was a way of going. We concentrated on four areas. One, on the sound ratio. We talk on the signing traffic, which are different. The sign which traffic is always shown into the capital area. Third point was sign particularly side top. And the fourth one was on the sign area, which is casting a big white top for casting. In Birmingham time. And the other day, we got they're taking us to the initiatives from our government, from the government and leader, controlling community together inside regulation. We will also there, all of the daughter, your case. with the leaders and I'm grateful to all the leaders who propagated and listened to also. Few days back, you will ask if there was one particular news in the next day that comes from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu High Court and obtained a decision on supporting the appeal in downloading the child or vulnerability on child sexual abuse medication. So we are the head of the out of Canada. Yeah. Even before our data started release that we were able to click on challenge it and finally being able to the upload of the whole of the data that getting the data of a kind takes the remark. Downloading that in your mobile will be a crime to your file of the filters. Which for the entire media of network in your being great thing. All students out the fact of that side to take a vision to the other. It's an ability to the world to data will happen. All the right of the thing will be all over that is. We will be coordinated with the universal CNR. Thank you so much. We will do that again. We will be all this year. Earlier, we don't have a community effort to get to create a proof of paper. Only create a note, paper of the leader, being leader of the Thank you so much. Thank you for that. You are more paper, I have that thing. When you have one, नहीं और लैंड है सफान use for to have rules and here the words to really easily fit. Now I thought about Indian and Anambas, you will from here. You will recap of the GNRC forum and what are the India related, subcontinent related initiatives for the
Very much. Assalamualaikum, Namaskar, Satyavar, and a very good morning to all of you. Before starting, I would just like to point out something very tragic and emotional and interesting as well. That three generations of my family are here today. It's my father, who's worked with me in Makkah, then I, came in the picture since I was 10, and now my niece, Sania Vase, is here. So it's a very emotional moment for our family. All three generations of our association with Shanti Arjuna, Vinodka, Vijayanna, and GNRC. Thank you so much. So this is what a sacred, pure, and a powerful gathering is. And I'm privileged, proud, and honored to be present here. I thank Shanti Arjuna especially for always placing their faith in me and giving me opportunities that have always proven to be extremely significant in shaping me and my life towards positivity and growth. GNRC forums supported by the GNRC members, Arigato International, and other partners have had a great impact in shaping and contributing to the future course for global, regional, and national initiatives towards a better world for children. Each global forum marked the beginning of a new global action. Ethics Education for Children was launched in the second forum in Geneva 2004. World Day Prayer and Action for Children marked its beginning in the third forum of GNRC in Hiroshima 2008. This one was a special place as I witnessed this launch in person as a youth representative of GNRC South Asia. And Interfaith Initiative End Child Poverty was launched in the fourth forum in Dar es Salaam in 2012. And the fifth forum, which will be my focus for today's presentation, was held in Panama in June 2017. The Panama Declaration on Ending Violence Against Children was unanimously adopted by over 500 participants, making 10 specific commitments in all forms of violence against children. The GNRC Fifth Forum was convened in Panama City on the 9th, 10th, and 11th of May 2017. This forum was attended by 526 religious leaders, members of diverse faith communities, leaders of faith-based organizations, United Nations officials, and representatives of international and grassroots organizations from around the world. A pre-forum meeting also took place with 64 child participants from all over the world from 6 to 8 May. The theme for this forum was Ending Violence Against Children, Faith Communities in Action. The GNRC Fifth Forum was built on the work that GNRC members from diverse faith traditions has been doing since the year 2000, working for and with children to build a better world for them. The fifth forum focused specifically on solutions for the challenges presented by various forms of violence against children, broken down into these three themes. The first was protecting children from violent extremism, gang violence, and organized crime. Under this theme, the forum participants discussed and framed the role of religious leaders and faith communities in preventing the recruitment and participation of children into radicalized groups. The goal of this forum was to share what is already being done in these areas and to apply Arigato International's ethics education for children, prayer and action for children, and end child poverty initiatives to create new solutions and actions that could be deployed by the religious leaders and other faith communities around the world to prevent, reduce, and ultimately end the manipulation and use of children for these heinous crimes. The second was nurturing spirituality and ending violence in child upbringing. Under this theme, the participants had discussions and recommended ways in which a child's spirituality could be nurtured and promoted, in particular through positive parenting, but also by the wider community to protect them from violence and help them develop to their full potential. The fifth forum reflected upon and explored the role of faith communities and their leaders in supporting legal reforms to prohibit all forms of physical and humiliating punishments for children, as well as their role in fostering spirituality in them and caregivers as a way of preventing and mitigating violence. The participants reviewed opportunities to take advantage of ethics education for children, prayer and action for children, and end child poverty initiatives for this purpose. Then the third theme was ending sexual exploitation and abuse of children. Under this theme, the participants focused on the possible partnerships among faith-based organizations and communities and international organizations which address these challenges as well as consider partnerships among facilitated by Arigato International's initiatives that I have mentioned earlier. The participants explored ethical and moral imperative that faith communities not only acknowledge the existence and grave consequences of these vices, but also confront and challenge it within their communities in the wider society. In bringing the faith communities together to address violence against children, Forum sought to foster contributions to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. The strategists of the forum specified the major outcomes. They were learning and sharing. This implies increased understanding and appreciation of the scale and impact of violence against children, as well as enhanced understanding and shared learning about effective methods for preventing, reducing, and ending violence against children. The second was shared commitment and call to action. Commitment to addressing violence against children and adoption of concrete plans of action by faith communities, partners, and other stakeholders to prevent and reduce new approach for GNRC members and partners to make the most potential synergies among Arigato International's initiatives address the specific challenge violence against children, and contribute to sustainable development goals, the issuing of a shared commitment and call to action. The third outcome was building partnerships in violence against children. Effective broad-based interreligious partnerships as well as partnerships between religious and secular stakeholders aimed at ending violence against children by implementing the commitments and actions discussed at the GNRC Forum. The GNRC Forum Panama Declaration on Ending Violence Against Children was adopted unanimously by all the participants that summarizes the outcomes and contains 10 Panama commitments that since the forum have been guiding action taken by participants against end violence against children. So looking forward to the sixth forum of GNRC now in Abu Dhabi 2024. And for that, I would just say that indeed the tide is falling, and now it's time that we hear that call and take action toward it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aman. Clear picture on GNRC forum. So it's pleasure to share the key activities what we did, what we carried out with the three partners after the GNRC forum. As a country coordinator of GNRC India, it's my pleasure to share with you all. So after the forum, immediately we hosted the roundtable on on 13th August at Gandhi Theatre, Delhi, with religious leaders, academicians, and representatives working with children on a roundtable titled Buildings Holistic Societies in Multicultural Context, focused on children, violence, and peace. We are such an honor to the host this roundtable as part of Angapu International Interfaith Ethics Council meeting. Totally 50 participants from 30 institutions have participated. I'm so glad some of them participated in this today's meeting. In 2018, with the support of Argo International and the Interfaith Alliance, we hosted the roundtable on regional interfaith dialogue on child dignity and at Gandhi Darshan. Delhi on 27 September. We are really happy to inform you all that all the religious leaders here will participate in that roundtable program. In 2019, a Shanti Ashram going to be organized the India Roundtable was held on 11th and 12th of April. Over 140 individuals from 59 organizations and 18 states from India participated in the roundtable. This roundtable was focused on nurturing values and spirituality in early childhood from the topic prevention of violence. Then continues with India Roundtable. We had a adaptation of the LTIP manual to the middle childhood pilot initiative also that. Shanti Ashram Arigato International we did the pilot workshop in 2019. Around 42 children and 25 institutions of four major religions participated. In 2020, we had a time because during the pandemic, we worked with Arigato International with all the GNRC country partners during the global week held from 16th November to 20th November. We had a virtual platform and GNRC India has contributed for child and youth speakers, resource persons, mobilize the participants and coordinate design and technology for the successful global week. And 2021, in fact, so say we GNRC India took part in Geneva Peace Week, online workshop on the prevention of violence against children, sports were conducted, and global symposium on ethics education for the learning to live together also organized. Deci, GNRC nu required advising key physical to the spec to meet the consultation of this session and GNRC mobilized the participation for this symposium. In 2020 to 2022, we got a wonderful opportunity. The GNRC India provided opportunities for three young people to join in the committee of GNRC Youth. So around three young people got the opportunity. One of the boys here, Akash, he got the opportunity of GNRC Youth Committee. And between 2017 to 2024, the following initiatives were continuing with the help of all the GNRC country partners. Ethics education, most of we are continuously doing by using ethics to live together. And in India Power Solution, we are continuing with the four cities like Bangalore, Coimbatore, Delhi, and Kerala. The India Poverty Solution is an initiative, children initiative to end child poverty. And nurturing values and spirituality in early childhood for the prevention of violent school is implementing in India since 2022 in the field with caretakers and also facilitator for both children and parents. India is one of the four countries that implementing the nurturing spirituality. In 2017, we are continuously observing the commemorative days like annual Coimbatore Cheese Festival, observing Hiroshima Day between 2nd to 3rd week of the month of August, and observing the International Peace Day on 21st September with all our country partners, and observing International Day for Eradication of Poverty. And we also showed the International Children's Day as World Day of Prayer and Action for Children. Dr. Vinod rightly mentioned that last year we were honored to host the World Day of Prayer and Action for Children in Mumbai with 700 participants from 37 institutions. So also we after the pandemic, we collaborate with our GNRC partners. We conducted the many initiatives like interactive knowledge updates, intergenerational dialogues, leaders dialogue, experiential workshop, meet the expert, art therapy for mental well-being, and online talent sharing competition. So some of the influences that Swami Atma talk on intergenerational dialogue, and we have the interactive knowledge of face session and mental health session also we connected to online platform. All these activities we really happy and grateful to all our GNRC partners being supported to mobilize the children and participants. So I would like to conclude with our Manani's quote. We know that rights and responsibility go hand in hand. Mahatma Gandhi said, the Ganga of rights is from the Himalaya of wisdom. Thank you for this wonderful action. Even a panel discussion. So I would like to invite three of the facilitators to on stage. Dr. Diwali Bano, Co-President Religions for Peace, Asia and PCFP, CC Coordinator India, and Dr. Karthikeyan A, Youth Leader Shanti Ashram, Emergency PCC and Case Delhi, and Ms. Monica Christina, Focal Lead, Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Peace, Leadership and Development, Shanti Ashram. That's the moment. कैसे हो रहा है कैसे मैंने रखा है ना सो जाओ
Hello? Hello, good afternoon. Namaste, everyone. I am grateful thanks to the organizers who have invited me to be a part of this beautiful gathering. Professor Abdullah, she always looked up to me for the new ideas and suggestions from Guatemala for letting us use this hall this time for your name us. Yeah, yeah. You can expect us next year also. And Dr. Kesavinwala. I joined Religions for Peace when her father, Dr. Alam, was the president of Mother India. And I've seen the two grow up. When I joined, she was a child, and she remains a child for me. And I think that is the reason that child in her is still alive. So remain like that, you know. My respect and pronounce to all the religious leaders present here. This forum is going to talk about interfaith alliance, and as such, the child is calling and interfaith cooperation to build a hopeful world for children. So my respectful pronouns to all religious leaders who have come here to give the participation for the better future for our children. I've been asked to talk about the challenges that we have in online child sexual abuse. So building a safe world for children. Just now we spoke about the problems that young children are facing due to various conflicts around the world. But I would also like to draw your attention about the displaced families, displaced children who have been displaced due to climate change. Look at India, flash floods, and many kinds of natural calamities have forced families to run away from their homes. So these are the times, when children become more vulnerable and they fall easily ready to traffic. But the children who are sitting in the comforts of their homes or pushed by poverty, they also fall into trap of online sexual abuse. Now, the SCAP defines child sexual abuse, you all know, and I'm still reading it out, as contacts or interactions between a child and an older or more knowledgeable child or adult. It could be a stranger, sibling, or person in a position of authority, such as a parent and caregiver. Your parents are in a format situation. When the child is being used as an object for the older child's or adult sexual needs, these contacts or interactions are carried out against the child using force, usually bribes, threats of protection. So the child is helpless. Because the child faced with all these problems. So therefore, child sexual exploitation involves child sexual abuse and or other sexualized acts using children that involves in an exchange of some kind, either affection, food, or drugs in children. This is what you are doing. You are noticing certain people. So therefore, we find that the crime is committed by a person who attempts to abuse a child, the child is in a position of vulnerability, and he texts and he trusts that person for sexual love, and when he gets monetary benefits from other people. So therefore, it is very critical to engage this online with the children. Many times, parents in their families
we are not in the moment of how the child will be has on because the child sex offenders are very, very coercive, they are insistent and manipulative, and their efforts to exploit the children are successful because the child succumbs to this way. The perpetrators they take advantage of the internet and online tools to lure potential victims and produce child sexual abuse materials and upload them disseminate them, which the child enemies or unknowingly fall into the society and gets into his conduct such as abuse. Even though all of them are preparing for these results, the major challenges to children online are number one is child sexual abuse material, which is also known as CSAM. And our respected friend from Kailash Satyarthi Foundation just spoke about it. The enormity of this problem and how that handles it. So this material is really available and is distributed, and these abusers do not even spare even infants and 50% children. Then digitally generated child sexual abuse and exploitation material is also easily available to vulnerable children. They are forced into use it. Online grooming, that is stalking a child on the internet, communicating over the internet with a child for grooming the child for sexual purposes. So it may include manipulation or incitement in different forms of exploitative and abusive sexual infection. I'm not going to do it second. And then sexting that is using sexually explicit messages or images or self-generated sexual behavior on the inside. Even I see that when you start browsing the net, sometimes some strange pictures pop up. And that is how they try to gauge whether they're interested in it or you can go further. And that is where children, because children are curious. They want to know, they want to explore a world which is an adult world sometimes, and then you call it. So it is not only poverty always, and it is not always the children are forced to be here. But like somebody said, depression. Because they have been, neglected in their family, they have been scolded by the teachers, they have been bullied at school, they are going through a depressing period, and they mindlessly scour the internet and free perpetrators find such young children or even children 9 to 11 who has now access to internet. Earlier, internet was not so easily available in our country, but after the pandemic, it became necessary to have use internet and use smartphones. And as a market, some children have fallen into the trap of the sexual abuse. Then the sexual extortion or blackmailing, when an adult tries to blackmail a child or lure the child for sexual favors for money and other. And another sinister thing is life, making of this abuse, sexual abuse by people. People, perpetrators, pedophiles sitting in far-flung countries will see access to this and they view this by layman or public behaviors kind. Cryptocurrencies or currency or other income things. So these are the sinister uses of the internet. I will not talk about it much, but I'm going to discuss a little about what religious or faith leaders can do about it. When Vinu spoke, was brought up this topic of the HIV and AIDS program that she and Anand was sent. We remember we had a program in Coimbatore, and we had all of the gone down to their area temple And I was so impressed by his leadership. They had impressed upon the priests there that after each sermon, they should talk about this knowledge of HIV AIDS. Because of the Buddha, but they said they have to do it. I think the same can be done by all religious leaders, that whenever they are talking about, when they're talking to family, to talk about this online child abuse. Because many people, many families, are so busy, their parents are so busy with themselves, they do not know what. But they should look out for, telltale signs, like the child was into depression, bedwetting, thumb sucking, or cells are all withdrawn from this from the regular activity. So these are the signs, when should take care. And that is where interfaith leaders also have a role to play, because interfaith uh, alliance is a very strong foundation where people come together, they pool their resources, they pool their expertise, they pool their religious teachings so that everybody can benefit from these good practices. So, I broached the topic, this generation, our generation has a duty. Our generation has a duty towards the children, the next generation, to protect them. Because children are innocent, children are vulnerable. And if we look at all scriptures and all religious texts, every religious text talks about human dignity, to protect the child. Child is the image of God. And all the religious texts also talk about the proper sexual behavior. For example, Manusmriti talks about how a father and a daughter should not sit alone in a room. Similarly, I do not know about other religions, but other religions also speak about this kind of sexual pure behaviors. So these kind of teachings could be brought together, and when there are meetings, when there are get-togethers of religious scholars, these points can come. So it could also be because all these religious leaders have their own institutions, they have their safe spaces. So spaces can be created where children, the survivors, cannot be given shelter without being discriminated. But not even leader, because it's there, everybody looks up for a religious leader as a source of strength, as a source of solace. So they can talk to them, which they cannot talk to their parents. So, for example, the religious gurdwaras, synagogues, temples, churches, these are the places where it can be a safe place for child to go and come. So, but also the religious leaders need to ensure that the religious places that they have, the staff that is working there to scrutinize properly, they should have the proper behavior, and whenever meetings are taken place, when pictures are being taken, pictures are taken in a way so that they are safe and they cannot be used and manipulated. So these are the things, where places can become a focal point where the children can come talk about their problems. Also, the religious leaders can be a guide, a source of guide to the parents as well. So I will talk here not because there's so many things I want to speak about because it is the leaders who can create awareness about this maladies that is happening. Because sexual activities and sexual norms are kind of taboo in many of the houses. People don't talk about it. But in schools now they have started talking about it for healthy behavior. And it is also the teachers, to look around for telltale signs on whether a child is being bullied online or the child is uh, exploited online. And do some kind of take remedial actions so that the children are safe. And we all have a responsibility to do it. Our generation, the responsibility to the next generation to make it a safe world. And it says to make a safe world for the children. Thank you. You know, my topic is about making a secure environment for the children. So I'll just start with what Khalil Gibran had said. He's from Lebanon. And today the entire world action is in Lebanon. Wonderful poet. They stole these words. Your children are not your children, they are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come to you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they do not belong to you. And for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow which cannot visit, not even in your dreams. No, it's right. So, my topic in making a secure environment, we all know now wonderfully put into context the difficulties the child faces in today's world. Yeah. This has been referenced from my place where we can see in building a secure world what are the problems we all face on a day-to-day basis. We have education, shelter, because all of this have been beautifully portrayed in the UN Charter on Child Rights, which is like a garden document, and almost 186 countries throughout the world has ratified. So everything is there. The data is there, the material is there, but some said it's like child abuse, child labor, child marriage, poverty. But in building a secure environment, the problem comes in teaching children ideas, in telling them the way, but not enforcing upon them what has to be done. You give them the freedom of thought. Most of the conflicts in today's world is mostly ethnic, religious conflicts question on religion. All of this stem from the point that children are being brought up in caste chambers. They're brought so very interesting. Caste chamber is connected not to an oxygen mask, is connected to an LPG system. There are gas chambers. Children are not given the space to think about what they wish to do, what is the idea they wish to follow. We teach them what we have all become in our lives, become judgmental. We don't give them the safe space to think what's their point of view, what do they wish to do. Over time, this has said because if you look at the last name, it said that if you learn religion from a box, you believe stealing chicken is bad. Friends, religion has to be taught. Today we had a gathering. We had all religious people come together and do one week of their prayers, since their God for. Oh, everything was a hard. But it's the same in the external world. No, just because that the safe space for children has not been created. Children are not given that we believe that they need to be taught, they have to be guided. We need to be felicitating the process. We need not be enforcing upon the process. Just as if we see today's program, we have different people from different pages, different capacities, different occupations. We are all able to get a thing because we are felicitating, we are encouraging each other. No one is enforcing their idea of the other thing. Next slide. Point of verse comes from emergency medicine. It is we see life and death on a day-to-day process. I just one small anecdote. This young chap was around 30 years old. And you know, seeing children suffer is something significant, something unimaginable. It's not that adults suffer less, but see a child suffer is something. This child had the last stage of cancer, and he was suffering for oxygen. Everyone who visited the child, including my professors, they just had tears. We could not even write notes for the child. That was so emotional and so poignant. And if we were to sit and think of what's happening in the world, each and every child would have the same problem in the release. Each of the places children are having because it is very, very poignant, it's very emotional. So children become very special, very important that because they are not going to be able to also their sufferings and that makes the scar for their entire life. because their friends I and most of differences arise because they are not being taught, they are not being guided, and ideas are imposed. In a GNRC forum, very long back, I heard a story. A teacher asked some students to write comparative sentences, better, good, better, best. The top of the class wrote, my dog is better than yours. The teacher was incredibly happy. Sentence. Then the person who didn't know how to write each of the sentence and he came to the teacher and told, this fellow had written, my God is better than yours. The teacher was confused. He said, from where did you get this idea? He said, मैंने लिखा है वो तो लिखा था मेरे बस तुझे देख के लिखा है. This fellow had copied. That is the problem of the word. Original ideas have been lost. Wouldn't be copied, and we are not sure of our own selves. All these problems come together. So interreligious teaching is fundamental. So the Buddha essentially to understand that when there is in 2000, when Madhu Prasad Yadav was the religious minister, he had once commented, data is cheaper than Atta. Everyone knows the data. Data is there everywhere. Everyone knows the data. But how do we act as but it's a religion has to be realized. Data measures has to be data acted upon. Data measures has to be a data of time. My message would be that it's high time we do this process of learn, unlearn, and relearn. Many things that we are doing 40, 50 years in our life might be not the right way. But it has just been enforced upon us that just because I'm doing like this is the right way. Maybe it is time for us to unlearn and relearn. Because if you do an error once, it's a simple random error. Once you do it regularly, it becomes big better. It's high time maybe we learn and unlearn. And we need to go for this continuous improvement cycle. So, sir spoke about the common minimum program. I add the common minimum program. This I think that children are exposed to the thing. They go to the Jamas. They go to the ramparts where Molana Azad spoke 1947. Good march. Not they go to the Baha'i house of worship. They visit the Ramakrishna mission. There's something like physical presence and touch for children. You are going to enact good change. The message forward by children. It's the famous quote of Gandhi March. It's a very famous quote. Because already you have spoken, if you are here, we remember you are at this. And for the GNRC forum, how small idea of being. Small interaction, small group interaction. You won't see their places. You feel their culture. You understand who they are. My friends, go a long way. Because once you feel and understand, it's quite waiting or the
Good afternoon to everyone. The child is calling. Everywhere our room and corner of this hall, we hear the word the child is calling. This should be heard all over the world, and that is why the GNRC is words. As Deepali ma'am and Karthiyana spoke about the safe and secure world for children, we also should look on to build sustainable world for children. Building a sustainable world for children emphasizes the importance of nurturing them in environments that promote their physical, emotional, and social well-being, while also ensuring the health of our planet. As the children have the right to thrive, it is indeed they will develop their full potential and live in a sustainable world. As such, children should be at the center of the sustainable development goals. To bring these goals, we must focus on the poverty reduction, health, education, agriculture, and so on like gender equality and social inclusion. Without this mission, there will be no capacity for nations to bring about sustainable development. And that is why GNR's sixth forum this year focusing four areas under building sustainability: responsible lifestyles, hunger, poverty, and inequality, ethical values and education, climate conscious leadership. So the first and foremost that has been focused is on addressing responsible lifestyles. I put on word, the improving healthy and physical active lifestyle. 2019 report of UNICEF on the status of world children states that one in every three children under 5 is malnourished. Two in children under 2 live on poor diets. Almost two in children between 6 months and 2 years old are not fed food that support their rapidly growing bodies and brains. This puts them at risk of poor brain development, weak muscle, low immunity, increased infection. And also, there are some of the factors that impact the development of today's adolescents include social media, urbanization, unhealthy diets, armed conflict, climate change, and so on, like migration. So, we recommend, despite all the technological, cultural, and social advances of the last few decades, we have lost sight of this most basic fact. If children eat poorly, they live poorly. The growth and development. To grow and develop optimally, children need adequate nutrition. They need to be healthy. They must feel safe and secure and have opportunities for learning starting from there. Ancient defined as nurturing care that we must provide as adults to the all children of the world. The next is social and emotional well-being. A child's social and emotional well-being is integral to their overall health, development, and well-being. Children with high levels of social and emotional well-being are more likely to successfully negotiate physical, intellectual, and social challenges during childhood and adolescence. So, we recommend some of the benefits of social emotional development that include better self-confidence, promote positivity, increase empathy, and increase resilience with more positive attitude. The next focuses on hunger, child poverty, and inequality. These are all interconnected with each other. That hunger and undernutrition can have a host of negative effects on child development. The first 3 years of child's life are a period of rapid brain development. Too little energy, protein, and nutrients during this sensitive period can lead to lasting deficits in cognitive, social, and emotional development. This leads to the child poverty. The impact of poverty on young children is significant and long lasting. Poverty is associated with substandard housing, hunger, homelessness, and inadequate childcare and unsafe neighborhoods. So the hunger and child poverty leads to the inequality. From birth to childhood to adolescence, morbidity, mortality, growth and development are socially determined, resulting in the most disadvantaged having the highest risk of poor health outcomes. So we recommend to consider two categories of actions to promote equality among children and the youngsters. That is to strengthen individual, strengthen community, improving living and working conditions and promoting healthy macro policies. The next important focus area is on ethical values and education for sustainable environment. Almost every human action affects sustainability and has an impact on the environment directly or indirectly. We recommend environmental ethics is not just academic in schools or exercise, it's a call to action. It encourages us to rethink our relationship with the planet and to consider the ethical implication of our lifestyle. Our call is for the idea of edutainment, that is, derived from the combination of words education and sustainability. Edutainability can be viewed as fundamental ethics. And we must take them to understand the rational and interconnectedness of humans and nature. They need to know their environmental rights, such as as they know about the rights to children, they also must talk about the right to inherit a healthy and sustainable environment, right to food, water, shelter, and education. The final and fourth focus area is on climate conscious stewardship. Climate change is a serious existential threat to us all, especially younger children and pregnant mothers. Even though we know that young children are not responsible for the current climate crisis, They are likely to experience the greatest effects of climate change throughout their life. In an era when climate change was such a significant threat to child development, we recommend educating the youngest members of society about environmental sustainability must be a key priority in all their schools and their surroundings. Empowering the next generation of environmental stewards, involving young children in climate action helps them develop an awareness of climate change and fosters a sense of agency in addressing it. By building climate literacy hope, from the earliest stages of development, we can cultivate hope, resilience, and environmental stewardship into hearts and minds of the young people. Since all the focuses are interconnected from lifestyle to better health, from hunger to child poverty, environment, and climate change, here is urgent need to hear the call of children for the future and securing the planet as well. At last, as Mahatma Gandhi said, and as Sanya Vasil mentioned, change that we should see in the world. Thank you.
People really just for all of us who have seen. You know, it's common learning.
चलेंगे
People
टेस्टिंग
there is quite a quiet reading of papers. I think what Parivarod for you, Dr. Bharati, it was reading of concept of the text to language. What challenge something like three problems again we can bring up to the discussion. I think the first one is what Dr. Manoj said. It's so important for us to know what the child is asking for return often becomes the very platform on which we manipulate a child. If you remember what Dr. Dipali had in a paper, a child might just want love. That makes them vulnerable to grooming and sexual abuse. If that love can be provided in an alternative way, the child will be listening. The youth committee member that of GNRC that Vijay was speaking about, a young child of 3 who entered the Balashaki program at Shanghai is winning the gold medal today at Hyderabad and has entered IIT Hyderabad. He was PhD. I remember it today because the metrics of our work does not only have to be in numbers of how many meetings and conferences. It is also the young leaders like Charlie and Monica, Anam that we are creating who can articulate for the next generation what this means to them. So Dr. Bhagat, I think you brought not only the causal relationship to sexual abuse, you brought to us in a very fundamental way. What is the universal right of a child to be loved universally? I also think, I don't know, I was speaking to Brother Steve, maybe both of us were also in the sheet, can see this set of 4 things that the UN says our colleagues in the Allied Charity Foundation are talking about. They are interconnected. Child marriage, child labor, child vulnerability, cycle that become more vicious. If that is something that we can ask leading institutions like our Christian that we can ask the Catholic Bishops Conference and our to have a few things that can be part of every discussion. Because if I may use a medical term about the burden of disease or the burden of sexual violence today has reached disproportionate levels to be God. I also want us to remember as Starkey is always such a powerful communicator that image from the emergency medicine community. We become apathetic sometimes when we see it over and over and over again. When Dr. Tiffany Fadot said, the child in below is alive, it takes a lot to protect the child in below. It takes a lot for Dr. Merchant to remain as it is, or for us, for you to know that a child doesn't have to come into your life to think of a child. And that is something that can come partly in the way you presented in one of the meetings. And you presented very clearly is to change our own work sites and welcoming site. What Mr. Annamale is here, Dr. Annamale for us, is a work, the National Gandhi Museum has become a welcoming site. This after lunch, the 4 5 children who are here, Sanya, you must take and walk around. You will see the things that Gandhiji used, the things that was received as gifts by the people of India. So this idea of encounter in one each other's homes, whatever that home is the emergency medicine for you. That's where you spend most time. That home can be a home that is there. And finally, I say this because I think your presentation this morning was so deep and it gives us prepared presentation. We don't have to give. If Vijay and Monica and Karthi and Anand can share this, each of us can use these presentations going forward because it has the language of the young, it has the language of the committed, it has the language of the experienced and the wise. Monica, when you spoke, deconstructing each one of them, this is what we want to bring back now in the Abu We might not be all present, but if the forum is seen the way it is seen today, as an aggregation of people committed with children, this doesn't become a distant action plan we can do in our own spaces. So I know we started a bit late because of the Prime Minister's convoy, and we don't have it there. But if I may invite you to remember this, we will share this. Please take a moment to go back because I found is very original and the discerning topic within of the context of India, keeping the global connection. Well, so I think in the next Vijay, you can guide us. If you don't mind, we will invite the three of them together and if we can convert ourselves to a circle and maybe to share a couple of things, maybe two ideas each that you think should come into the praise that Professor Vasi has given us a common minimum program. And that common minimum program, therefore, is not just asking the global forum, but the common minimum program will be even more powerful if it can be a common minimum program of practice in the Navy from India. So will you please join me in thanking the three wonderful leaders of the topic? Structures you can have more presentations to take. Okay. Is it okay to ask again after a few seconds and then just convert himself into yourself? And then maybe Dr. Pakke, Dr. Bano, the previous contract might be also this person. And we go, maybe we go one by one, like a bit more focused. And even if you can be an unpick. The initial questions we can start with. Yes, the circle around. Yes. Starting at why are you? Why are you?
before we start the first kind of friends to talk we have a child who wants to it's a poem. That I hope we make to refresh our mind something on the poem experience. We have eyes from who will be reading about the poem. We are able to remember one more on this important kind of ready class 7B. I will write in a no. We share over one, we share over one, we share over one. Someday, oh, deep in my heart, I believe we share over one. Someday, we will go hand in hand, we will go hand in hand, we will go hand in hand. Someday, oh, deep in my heart. I will be sure someday. We shall live in peace, we shall live in peace, we shall live in peace someday. One more leaf in my heart, I will be sure someday.
My favorite is so maybe the questions and then we spend 15 minutes. So if you have any, you have to say that shut down, you may not. Well, yes. So the first question that was given, key program that we all have. Thank you, Vinu. The first question that comes from building a civic world maturity. The first question is, what are the key success stories from India that have contributed to building a safe world for children that should be highlighted at the sixth point? So we want success stories from India because this forum is now taking place in India. So we would like somebody to answer that. If you have some answers with the success stories from India, please something. Can you find someone?
Scatter the sharing story is one example. It's not good. But in the year 2012, when the world leaders meeting in Gandhi, Gordon Brown called GNRC come together for the hunger summit of Michael story when we were sharing the podium. Because 500 children getting economies come to some areas with experienced hunger. So we asked them, we had different games and different exercises for understanding hunger and its implications was what we shared this morning. And then we asked them to give a recommendation to the world is meeting in Geneva, in London. The recommendation was tell the world leaders not to end hunger. They said, these are the world leaders not to waste your time having a conference of hunger. You were shocked. These are children who experience hunger and starvation. They said instead, ask them to waste their enriching time, invest their time on a conference of ending nutrition, malnutrition. And they said, they're very clear. If you end hunger, you give me a plate of rice, which the Indian government was doing at that time and still doing right now. They give the world food security bill, rice staple period. But if end nutrition, you find midday meal, again rice and food and vegetables and all the nutritious things that go along with it. That was the wisdom of children. So I like that every single point of yours was quick children, quick children, quick children. Unfortunately, due to time, and I know Richard, you tried to get children here for the consultation, but maybe a conscious sense of move that in the GNRC, we have children of all faiths coming together and solidly discussing and getting, you get answers that will blow your mind like a one.
One, two, three, I thought we had one. Post pandemic, I love the sentence of Monica. You can't have an unhealthy child to build a healthy future. It's absolutely not possible. Hunger has gone up. So if you're in the other side of the world, when in the urban cities, privileged settings, you're forgetting. So hunger could be something that we can take from the forum, lift it up. It's a global problem. It has to be also a focus here. And connected to that is responsible lifestyle, looking at local practices. But yesterday we met from IIT Delhi, uh, a group of researchers who are looking at Indian food strategy. They're using the digital media to take 1,000 pictures of idlis, our common breakfast, and they're estimating calorie levels because they can position this there. So, what you're speaking about is the quality and the quantity, both of it. Because when you pay attention to the calorie requirement, but also nutritional requirement, then that the overall. But can hunger be something that we can take forward with the good practices?
Or competitions. And four of them,
Yeah.
the underlying which has or education.
Yes.
That's it was not in the four columns where even though the statements were missed with and you emphasize a lot on the power of stories, the power of statements.
So addressing this with children.
That's not negotiable.
Absolutely. And anybody else?
Taking forward is the consultation we are having. A very important dimension that would help the families is that there should be a regular time for prayers. Gandhiji also believed very strongly in the power of prayer. So from childhood, children are taught that whatever may be happening in the world, there are also mysterious powers that can come to our aid. The way to draw upon those powers is through prayer. So if from each family were to devote little time, come together and pray. And after prayer, parents, the adults should be willing to listen to the children. And the children should be willing to obey and trust. Today there is a gap. So, my understanding when we do this workshop, like say that every adult has a three-fold relationship with the child, and it goes right through the ages. When the child is small, they look upon the adults as caregivers. And if a child has been not carefully nurtured in terms of love and a sense of security, however maybe the small the house may be or poor the family is, but if the parents' love is really deeply instilled in the hearts of the child, that child will never be insulted. Today, a child cannot trust another child. Just today, yesterday's paper. Every day there are incidents of adults molesting, raping, strangling, killing. So we live in a very, very disoriented world. So the first relationship of a child to the adult is that, especially when they are small, that of a caregiver. The second is adults are also supposed to be the source of discipline. Where do the child get a sense of discipline? If they see that the adult members in the family, parent, mother, they are violating basic laws, misbehaving, wrong vocabulary, jumping the red light, terms are instead of following the traffic rule. So naturally the child thinks this is the law. And as the child grows up through the ages, if an adult has been always caring and lived a life of discipline to an extent, child will also begin to trust that friendship. So when my children grow up, caregiver, but yes, friends. They can talk to me about any subject they want. They won't have to go to some other adult to look for guidance. So that trust is there. Likewise, when it is extended to the school, the teacher. Can the student or people in the classroom trust the teacher and share problems difficulty? So these are taken a bit of time, but I feel that this was a right action.
not having child. Can I place this as a recommendation of intergenerational cooperation and index? Some the broadest way. Because I think that what you're mentioning and partly mentioned, Partita, you mentioned the language of love, language. I don't know how you will bring it in family, but if you can think of a second recommendation where intergenerationally we explore the gifts of our diversity and build trust, but beyond trust, build also unity on solving some of the problems.
One more important addition could be the role of I feel a mother wants to cook in the kitchen. She will leave a child watching a TV or put a smartphone. A child, when you give those gadgets when they are very young, it's not only going to impair the health, also it becomes addiction. Lot of technology is another very important.
And there are some कैसा हो बहुत जरूरी है किसी भी परिवार का समाज का राष्ट्र का और पूरे विश्व का भविष्य की बच्चे लेकिन बच्चों का भविष्य बने कैसे जो संस्कारी हो धार्मिक हो और पूरी मानवता ही नहीं बल्कि प्राणी मात्र के ये उनके हृदय में एक करुणा का अहिंसा का दया का कृतज्ञता का भाव उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि जो संस्कार है वो परिवार से मिलते हैं जैसे कि सभी उन्होंने कहा शिक्षा जो मिल रही है स्कूलों में वो रोजगार की शिक्षा मिल रही है क्या जॉब करना है कितना पैसा कमाना है क्या करना है लेकिन जो नैतिक शिक्षा है जो संस्कार है अलग अलग धर्मों के संप्रदायों के वो अगर कहीं से मिलते हैं तो वो माता पिता से मिलते हैं ये भारतीय संस्कृति में ये भी कहा गया है कि प्रथम जो गुरु है या शिक्षक है वो माता पिता लेकिन आज वर्तमान की जो समस्या है सबसे बड़ी समस्या यह है कि माता पिता बच्चों के लिए समय भी नहीं निकाल पा खास करके जो लोग बिजनेस कर रहे हैं या जॉब कर रहे हैं उनके पास बच्चों के लिए समय नहीं है और जो जॉइंट फैमिली थी वो भी धीरे धीरे खत्म होती जा रही है पहले परिवार में जो बड़े लोग होते थे उनके द्वारा उन बच्चों का उनको संस्कार मिलते थे और एक इमोशनल अटैचमेंट उनकी परिवार के बड़े बुजुर्ग लोगों के साथ सबके साथ होती थी और उनके थ्रू उनको देखकर तो बच्चे खाली पढ़ने में नहीं सीखते पहले से ज्यादा परिवार में जो बड़े बुजुर्ग लोग हैं वो जीवन जी कैसे रहे उसको देख करके सीखते हैं समाज में या गली मोहल्ले में जो वातावरण है उसको देख करके सीखते हैं अगर हमें बच्चों के सुंदर भविष्य के लिए सोचना है कि वो संस्कारी बने अच्छे बने उन्हें अच्छा वातावरण मिले उससे पहले मैं समझता हूँ कि जो परिवार में बड़े बुजुर्ग लोग हैं माता पिता हैं या समाज में जो लोग हैं उन लोगों को अपने जीवन के स्तर को सुधारना इनको स्वयं अपने जीवन को संस्कारी बनाना होगा उनके आचरण से उनके उठने से बैठने से बोलने से हर कृत्य के साथ में वो झलकने चाहिए वो संस्कार जिसकी हम बात धर्म से कुटुंबकम की हम बात करते हैं चाहे सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया की बात करते हैं चाहे हम अलग अलग धर्मों में कहते हैं जैसे हम सुखी रहना चाहते हैं हम अच्छे रहते हैं तो हमारा पड़ोसी भी अच्छा रहना चाहे अगर ये चीजें हमारे प्रैक्टिकल जीवन में नहीं हो तो हम बच्चों को बहुत कुछ दे नहीं पाए बहुत जरूरी है ये चीजें हमारे जीवन में आए है कि पूरा वातावरण आज देखें ग्लोबल वार्मिंग की वजह से जलवायु परिवर्तन की वजह से है कहीं दरख्त पहाड़ है पिघलते ग्लेशियर है दरख्त ज्वालामुखी है जलते जंगल है कहीं अतिवृष्टि हो रही है कहीं अनावृष्टि हो रही है और कोरोना जैसी महामारियां भी आजकल जन्म ले रही ऐसी स्थिति में और तीसरे विश्व युद्ध की कगार पर खड़े हुए विश्व को की जो स्थिति है ऐसे में क्लाइमेट चेंज की जो स्थितियां हैं या प्राकृतिक जो आपदाएं हैं वो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ऐसे वातावरण में कम होने वाली ये चीजें सब बढ़ने वाली, अधिक बढ़ेंगी, बीमारियां बढ़ेंगी, महामारियां बढ़ेंगी, प्राकृतिक आपदाएं बढ़ेंगी। ऐसे में मनुष्य को और ज्यादा जिम्मेवार होकर के अपनी क्योंकि मनुष्य इस प्रकृति का सर्वश्रेष्ठ प्राणी है, वो अगर संस्कार चेंज हुआ और उसने इस वातावरण को अगर चेंज नहीं किया है, तो आने वाले समय में बहुत बड़ा खतरा जो इसके लिए है और आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए, बच्चों को हम ऐसा मन प्रदूषित वातावरण दे करके जाएंगे, तो एयर भी प्रदूषित होगा, वायु भी प्रदूषित रहेगी, जल भी प्रदूषित होगा, जो भी हम फल फ्रूट सब्जियां खाते हैं वो भी प्रदूषित होगी, और उसके साथ जो वैचारिक प्रदूषण है वो भी कितना घृणा, नफरत, ईर्ष्या, द्वेष और दुर्भावनाओं के साथ फैल जाएगा, जिसके कारण जिस शांति की हम बात करते हैं, विकास की बात करते हैं, तो असंभव है। बहुत जरूरी है विकास के लिए कि शांति हो, स्वास्थ्यपूर्ण वातावरण हो और परस्पर से हम कहते हैं सर्वधर्म सर्वभाव सहयोग। आप देखिए भारतीय संस्कृति में ज्ञान योग की बात आती है, भक्ति योग की बात आती है, कर्मयोग की बात आती है, लेकिन इससे भी बड़ा मैं कई बार मजाक में कहता हूँ लोगों को, सबसे बड़ा योग है वो है सहयोग। परस्पर अगर मनुष्य जाति, संप्रदाय और भाषा के भेदों को भूल करके, जिसे भगवान महावीर ने कहा एका मनुष्य, सारी मनुष्य जाति है, उसको अगर हम मान करके चलेंगे और परस्पर हम सहयोगी बनेंगे एक दूसरे के लिए, तो विश्व में शांति होगी और आने वाला भविष्य अपना भी और बच्चों का सुनहरा और अच्छा होगा। ये अगर हम नहीं कर सके तो जो हालात है जिसके कुछ भी कहा नहीं जा सकता है क्या
वो बड़े-बड़े बोले आप, लेकिन भी और वो रिस्ट्रिक्शन के अंदर वापस एक बनो तो अपना गेम तो माइंड तो ये जो आप बता रहे हैं कि हम मॉडल हम जो के हाथों में हमारे इज्जत तब बढ़ेगी जब हम कुछ बोलने को करते हैं। वो बहुत जो बहुत पॉइंट सभी कोऑपरेशन ये कोऑपरेशन इसके framework हुई है सहयोग इंटरजेनरेशनल फ्रेमवर्क जो हुई। मुझे पता नहीं कि बात कब है खाने के टाइम में है, लेकिन अगर हम 3 पॉइंट लेते हैं यहाँ से एंड आज यदि कंपेयर यू एंड फाइंड अ वे इन व्हिच वी कैन डू दैट। तो एक वार्ता 2 और एक से वार्ता 3 परफेक्ट। तो आप नजदीक है, आप बेहतरीन उसके बाद है।
मैंने इसकी बातें सुनी, 80% सेक्सुअल अब्यूज वो विदिन दी एरिया होता है, अपने लोगों के साथ होता है। एक तो ये बात मुझे समझ दूसरी बात ये है कि कोई देखती 5 किलो अनाज 80 किलो लोगों को बांटा जाता, उसमें न्यूट्रिशन की बात और वाइटमिन की बात करना, मैं समझता हूँ कि ये मानवीय जितने भी लिमिट इंक्लूडिंग पॉइजन, हम जितने भी सेक्स अब्यूज है वो धर्मों के केंद्रों में जा रहा है, आश्रमों के केंद्र में जा रहा है। जब तक वो लोग जो आश्रम बनाए ये जो सारे धर्मों का उन लोगों को तब तक नहीं, हमारे और आपके कुछ होने वाला। तीसरी बात ये है कि जो हम प्रेयर कर पा रहे हो इस परिवारों में, मैं नहीं समझता मैं ये जो प्रेयर है इस बार शुरू लाने की लाइन को देकर ये कहती थी कि समझ कर कोई स्टेप उठाया जाए तो सब लेकर अगर कुछ आधार है इतना देना होगा पिछले जो बच्चा को छोड़ के उसके ऊपर काम कर पड़ेगा और वो अगर कुछ पीछा गए लोगों को सीधा लिया ये भगवान ने दिया दानों आगे पता नहीं भविष्य में क्या हो। We should come back, we should come together, we should fight this issue all together. Nothing more than that also. What we are doing.
मैं विवेक बोली थी के बात में जो भी माध्यम में आपको शुरू मैं कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर को बहुत अच्छे से समझती हूँ और जानती हूँ। हम लोग जो यहाँ बैठे हैं वो फिर भी काफी अवेयर है इन चीजों को, इन मुद्दों को लेके और इसके प्रति कुछ काम करना चाहते हैं।
लेकिन जो लोग कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में काम कर रहे हैं, जैसा कि विवेक मोदी जी ने बोला कि रोजगार की तैयारी करा रहे हैं स्कूलों में, कॉलेजेस में, यूनिवर्सिटीज में, तो जब हम कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में जाते हैं, जब हम आईटी सेक्टर में जाते हैं, जब हम रोजगार की जिंदगी में चले जाते हैं, वहाँ हमारे जो प्राइमरी केयर गिवर्स होते हैं, जो हमारे पेरेंट्स हैं, ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स हैं, हम कहीं ना कहीं उनसे दूर होने लगते हैं और अपनी एक इंडिविजुअल लाइफ बनाने लगते हैं। और हर इंसान दो प्लान पे एग्जिस्ट करता है, एक अपने इंटरनल और एक एक्सटर्नल। एक्सटर्नल लाइफ पे भी वो कई अलग अलग डिफरेंट उसके लाइफ होते हैं। हमारा आज की तारीख में फाइनेंशियल लिविंग है, सोशल लाइफ है, डिजिटल लाइफ है, लेकिन एट एन इंडिविजुअल लेवल वी डू नॉट हैव अ स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ। तो अगर हम अपनी निजी जीवन में अध्यात्म को जगह नहीं देंगे, तो हम अपने बच्चों को, अपने आने वाले जनरेशन को अध्यात्म नहीं सिखा पाएंगे। और अध्यात्म किसी एक रिलीजन की वजह से नहीं, हर रिलीजन में अध्यात्म है, अध्यात्म की वजह से ही रिलीजन से। तो ये जरूरी है कि हम किसी भी संप्रदाय से हो, हम आध्यात्मिक हो और हम आध्यात्मिक होंगे, compassionate होंगे, ना सिर्फ अपने बच्चों के लिए, जानवरों के लिए compassionate, और अगर वो compassionate होंगे, तो आने वाले जो जनरेशन है वो compassionate होंगे। और वर्ल्ड में जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स है, हंगर है, malnutrition है, उनके लिए compassionate होंगे। ये सारे इश्यूज कहीं ना कहीं हम समेट कर रखें तो कंपैशन से ये सारे प्रॉब्लम्स में सॉल्व कर सकते हैं। तो मेरा ये मानना है कि apart from the fact that we should try and encapsulate children in our agenda, we should also try that each individual gets to have their own spiritual journey. Thank you.
If that is one phrase as a repetition.
Sure, but maybe and you bring it up. I think it's a आज लोगों जो बोले डीप पे आप किसी पे अदा कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि आप जैसे बोल रहे हैं, हम ये जो एजुकेशन स्पेस में, कॉमन एजुकेशन स्पेस में ये जगह नहीं दे रहे हैं हम कि आज लोग की किसके लिए वो स्पेस, लेकिन इनकॉमन नॉन कॉमन स्पेस में हम क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। जैसे स्वामी जी बोले फैमिली में कर सकते हैं, शादी आजकल हमारे संस्थाओं में जो नॉन कॉमन स्पेस, आजकल पेरेंट्स ढूंढ रहे हैं ऐसी जगह, ढूंढ रहे हैं कि वो किसके साथ ये बातें करें, किसके साथ बच्चों को इंट्रोड्यूस करें। आप जो बोले, आप जो बोले बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बोले, इसमें अलग अलग हम नहीं कर पाएंगे, लेकिन इकट्ठा अगर सोचते हैं और बोलते हैं कि हमारे बच्चे हैं, इनफैक्ट इवन पॉवर्टी से आगे चल के हमारे बच्चे अगर बोल सकते हैं डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी है, डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेटली चिल्ड्रन who don't have very fundamental needs उनके नजदीक आएंगे। So I'm getting the wonderful points. I'm going to pass this up. Brother Steve, one sentence. Pass this up, one sentence, process.
On what you said, the recommendation given to GNRC because it pushes the humans and people to endorse the child's life as spiritual, not like religion, like spiritual. We need to, so they say like that, I think, talk
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all. I'm Sunetra from Bangladesh, and I'm very much grateful to Annam Reddy. I'm here, it is a great opportunity. I'm working for 3 years with the children of Origin in Chittagong. And actually, they are very close neighborhood of our community for last 50 or 60 years. And I have seen they are being excluded from our society. Society is calling them super. They are the super. They are excluded from everywhere. And their parents are only allowed to do a job for the supers. Now, after 3 years, I just worked on painting and science awareness and our dictionary computer and others. They said this. Now, the children they are replying to you when you will ask the children, what is your future? What you want to be? Then the children will reply you, are you be a doctor or are you or something like this? And this is the change. It is very tough job in Bangladesh because the religion itself is
everywhere spreading bad. I'm so very verses that he explained that Islam or religion or any religion is only is not it is not for any Islam. So that's why I am working researching on my research on lineages. That motto, his motto as a journalist also, I do this, his motto he was in Florida or town as a journalist. This is my work here, and I'm really you all that I think to know from the side also seeking job and country as well also I think thank you. I'm very grateful to you and I would like to work more with margin, more with the thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
तो मुझे सिर्फ ये करना है जो अभी कहा इंटरजेनरेशनल डायलॉग होना चाहिए और वो इसलिए जरूरी है कि हमारे यहाँ जो सारी प्रॉब्लम है वो इंटरजेनरेशनल जो एक तरह से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है उसकी वजह से है। मैं आपको एक मिसाल देता हूँ कि एक बच्चा दुआ मांग रहा था नमाज के बाद और वो कह रहा था "या अल्लाह मुझे रहने के लिए अच्छा मकान दे, या अल्लाह मुझे खाने के लिए रोटी दे, या अल्लाह मुझे पहनने को अच्छा कपड़ा दे।" तो बुजुर्ग खानदान जो थे, खानदान के जो एल्डर के पर्सन थे, वो एल्डर उनको उन्होंने कहा, "ये क्या मांग रहे हो? ये खुदा से मांगने की चीज़ है। तो बाबा आप दुआ में क्या माँगते हो?" कि मैं ये माँगता हूँ कि अल्लाह मुझे नेक बना, अच्छे आचरण वाला बना, अच्छे क्या व्यवहार वाला बना। तो उनका ठीक है बाबा इसके बाद जो नहीं होता वो तो एक बात तो ये है कि हमारे यहाँ एक तो इंटरजेनरेशनल डायलॉग होना चाहिए। इस बात की एक दूसरे को समझ तीसरी बात जो दूसरी बात कहेंगे अध्यात्म की मैं इस्लामिक स्टडीज का शामिल रहा हूँ रहा हूँ मैं उसकी पुस्तकों करता हूँ चाहिए और समर्थन करता हूँ। उसकी वजह ये है कि माफ कीजिएगा शंकर की पूजा तो हम सब करते हैं विश्व को मतलब हम शिव को लॉर्ड शिव को हमके बहुत बहुत के रूप में देख रखे हैं कि इनका भोलेनाथ बोलते हैं लेकिन हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि शिव जो है भोलेनाथ से नीलकंठ तो भोलेनाथ के और ये भोलेनाथ से नीलकंठ के थे एक ऐसे जमाने में जब सागर मंथन हो रहा था और तमाम जो राक्षस थे वो अमृत लिए भागे थे और फिर छोड़ गए थे ताकि मानवता का विनाश हो जाए जैसे फैसला किया कि विश्व को और एक तरह से नीलकंठ बनती है। आज जरूरत इस बात की है कि हम अपने जिलों के अंदर अपने कॉलेजों के अंदर सबका पाठ्यक्रम जो है उनको हिस्सा तो जरूरी करे और उसमें माफ करेगा किसी एक धर्म का नहीं है। बात यह मैडम ने कहा था कि हर धर्म के अंदर आध्यात्म मौजूद है। हमें हर धर्म की अच्छी एक ऐसा पाठ्यक्रम बनाना चाहिए और मैं समझता हूँ कि उसको गुरुदारी में क्या मैं कॉन्फिडेंस वाला वाली है उसके अंदर जो है इसको दूर जाना चाहिए कि बच्चों को अपने आध्यात्म के सबक को पढ़ाना चाहिए बच्चों को बुनियादी तौर पर धर्म जो है उनको समझ ही नहीं करते धर्म आचरण की सभ्यता को विकसित नहीं कर सकते जब तक कि हम बुनियादी तौर पे धर्म की और आध्यात्म की सही परिभाषा जो है उसको नहीं समझेंगे और बातों को हमारे बच्चे काम नहीं करेंगे और प्रैक्टिकली बात नहीं कह रहे ऐसे पर्सन व्यवहार क्या कर सकते हैं इतने ज्यादा जैसे बच्चों की बात करते हैं बच्चे हमारे भारत के संस्कृति में हम बच्चे निश्चय खराब कर सकते हैं हमारा देश है परिवार संस्कार होता है
तो बच्चों को फैमिली से जो है ऐसी मिलती है तो उसमें दो तीन टिप्स है मेरे पास ये है टू बिग बिग जिसे विवाह विवाह के प्रभाव का है मान के दो तीन बच्चे हैं मगर तो दोनों को नहीं जरूरी है तो ठीक है प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जिसे तो ना इंदर एक साथ करें सब परिवार के बिल्कुल एक साथ मिल रहे हैं उसका है कोई फिल्म की राजनीति की जैसे कौन काम है तो परिवार पहले टीवी बंद में दो घंटे के लिए टीवी ऑफ होना चाहिए टीवी होना नहीं चाहिए ये आप टीवी बंद में बच्चों को बात करनी चाहिए बच्चों को टीवी होना तो काम नहीं होना चाहिए फिर मुस्लिम में फ्री को से लिए तो इस तरह का बच्चे बड़े होंगे वो घर में कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे स्कूल में कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे और समाज में कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे और जो भी विपरीत परिस्थिति में है परिस्थिति को फेस करने के लिए कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे ये हमारे जो हमारे we view these things लेकिन it has been proved very powerful practical ये राजस्थान में हुआ दीदी
Then you wind this out. You last one from I think.
Yeah, I will just add to what everyone said and that one thing that about the intergenerational cooperation. This is the perfect example that we have a person of 75-year-old to 13 and 10-year-old person in the same group, in the same circle, and Shanti Arthur to GNRC has been doing the same. Like I remember in 2008, I was sitting, Isaac and I, we were just 13, and we were sitting with the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations on the same dais. So this is something that is opportunity you are giving us and one more thing that in Islam there are two points. Hukukul libas and hukukul salam. That is duties towards God and for your fellow human beings. And to say that God will question you on duties towards your human beings first. Not what कितनी नमाज पढ़ी कितना रोजा रखा ये नहीं तुमने मेरे दूसरे बंदे के लिए क्या किया that will be the question that we have. We have something that I want to put forward and what is we are doing here. Whoever this
So that's where the concept of God, the concept of
sanity. Inside the sanity.
yeah so then
that's it. Perhaps we try next brother see these some parts of circle. This goes.
everyone our precious time and valuable thoughts really question and also honor to the welcome GNRC India whole family. Yes. So welcome to all of GNRC. Global network of population. It is all related media. To keep. Don't we all assume you will work together really you will take a next step to power to bring at least children who feel into space from children be really open to use space for children for their safe, secure and also thank you so much for each and everyone for your time. Really, it's part of our coordination team. Let's do sorry for the delay. Thank you so much for this.
In the last section, there were three objectives to this before. And now when we started at this the first was to listen to the follow-up work since last forum. We thank Vijay and Anam for listing what we have done so far from the forum, the good job of God. And as Anam said, Anam started as the child participant in the Hiroshima forum. Now presently it is Ushanto. That was the first objective of the meeting. The second, I think, most important is all those of us who can't make it to Abu Dhabi still have the chance to speak together. And I think as a country, we debated number of children. We had a movement last year in Bombay and now again. I think it is like a mutual retreat, even if it's 3 hours. In do that. And the third is our recommendations. And always when we come together like this, we use the time to share. But the team, the core team, if you can put together a one-page recommendation based on what heard from the basis, it's okay, we can run it to everybody. So to see if there is consensus. The reason for having this consensus is because we have to promise action before we send it in our own country, as well as India and people who work with children. But there is support that we have to appreciate and acknowledge that made this meeting possible. I would like in that order to request Faraz. Faraz, you're part of us, but I know you also represent the co-host of this forum, the Interfaith Alliance that is supported by the Indian government, and I will to say a few words, then I will come Vanamayana for you to say a few words, Vanamayana. Then I will come to my friend Nishan, he will have something. Or maybe we start with Nishan, then I'll come to Vanamayana. And the friends from the New Humanity to also say a few words and then I'll pass it on. I know Monica has thank yous. Monica and Kathy. Nishan, आप क्या बोलने चाहेंगे? सब लोग से बड़ों को सुनना पड़ेगा लेकिन हाँ सब लोग को सुनना पड़ेगा शायद बड़ों को डॉक्टर बनना चाहिए बड़ों को बहुत बनना चाहिए बड़ों को मुझे बहुत चाहिए सेकंड सो निशान की एक क्वेश्चन थी मैं हिंदी में बोलूं या इंग्लिश में बोलूं मतलब मैं आपको कौन लैंग्वेज में बोला तो मैं हिंदी में so I hope you remember the call of Nishan. Please become doctors. Kindly please become good doctors. Please help children. And बड़ों को और क्या करना चाहिए अच्छा काम करना चाहिए बच्चों के लिए be good people. यही बता रहे थे ना आदमी को भी करेंगे अच्छे होने चाहिए मैं अभी खराब किया कुछ आप दे देंगे उनके नाम पे
So maybe the thing has become teacher was reminded of the slave that's very important. To build a more positive world, a world that is safe, sustainable and secure. And I think we should be able to strictly follow for our legend to practice. Because it is and then one positive but we need to work with them that affect the children world. Because the we take that tomorrow. So I think we all have very interested to hear all the input and ideas and suggestions. So we will be capturing all of them to making sure that they're explaining the things that happen in Abu and the data without effectively that these tasks. The simplification team also has been briefly Panama in Dar es Salaam and in the one of the city south. And then we hope that all the languages reflected in come out of students that would have clear will have 5 years of humans. The thank you for this.
Thank you, I know we are running out of time. And yesterday we had a discussion with the and he asked me very well, we're going to start with some program of children at work. So, I told him that when it's not about mandate, our mandate is very clear. That mandate is this. We create platform for all the people who come here to support all the people who are working for peace and joy. We are not directly involved, but we are always supporting all the activities all over the world. Whatever is needed. We need not do everything because you are doing wonderful work. Our support is also very long for you. Even the external support, it will not indulge into that work, but we will support all the work and we will do something which one another thing. As you said, number one that this is all Remember, it is also available. So feel free to come for experiencing that. That's the one word I want you to say. Thank you.
The African saying, "Not takes a village to raise a child." So, I'm really thankful for this moment. Two words that came to my mind: together and scale. No, you have to really continue to work together, religions and religions and everyone from the micro, which is the family, to the macro, which is countries. No? So, and to create this culture of fear, no, to create, as we were saying, people children compassion by our example, like growth. And there is spiritual aspect into the lives of the children from childhood to adulthood. That's it. Then remember, we can make it more of this happening in the silence. You want to say anything? Okay. You can all stand up in the last minute, so we'll have the moment for you. Kind the peace. So, and to the Gandhi. Now, for us to honor Swamiji, Sarvaloka, and one other honor. Let me see. Is because uh, so because you know what let's keep coming back to India. And if I thank you all to You know, we're all
on the view.
everyone thoroughly for us. Please honor each other. It's not humbly about final first together. Maybe on the chairs, if you sit in two rows, okay? Okay, Anna, please come. Come. Our Gandhi Museum team as well, please join us. Please join us. If the elders sit, it might be easier for the younger ones to learn.
Some of them also can, someone join on the stage and stuff. Yeah.
Kushi, answer. Kushi has been apparently the most wonderful volunteer today. You can say one to honor Kushi. She please come.
Thank you.